How are you? My name is Faiza. I'm from class 4B. So I want to give an explanation about how to develop ideas. And this video is dedicated to final segment academic speaking. Let's get into the topic. What is ideas? Ideas is a thought or collection of thoughts that generate in the mind. An idea is usually generated with intent, but can also be created unintentionally. Ideas often form during brainstorming session or through discussion. 8 steps to develop the ideas. 1. Observe more often. 2. Connecting with new talk. 3. Talk with friends. 4. Always ask why. 5. Observe the situation. 6. Make some exercises. 7. Make plans and cluster the ideas. 8. Practice. Generate the ideas with planning and clustering. What is planning? Planning is a fundamental management function which involves deciding beforehand what is to be done, when is it to be done, how it is to be done, and who is going to do it. It is an intellectual process which lies down an organization's objective and develops various sources of action by which the organization can achieve this objective. It tells our exactly how to attain a specific goal. How to planning the ideas. 1. Design your idea. 2. Create your prototype. 3. Review the ideas. 4. Create your project ideas. 5. Develop your timeline, launch and action, planning and strategy. What is clustering? Clustering is a method of grouping data. According to TAN 2006, clustering is a process to group data into several clusters or groups so that data is one cluster has a maximum level of resemblance and data between clusters has a minimum similarity. How to cluster ideas? 1. Post-it notes with ideas written above are placed in cluster groups or categories, then named. 2. If necessary, rearrange the ideas until these ideas are grouped together. 3. We also have to categorize new ideas if they arise during our practice. Next, simple sentence, compound sentence, complex sentence, compound, complex sentence. Simple sentence. A simple sentence is a sentence that consists of just one independent clause. A simple sentence has no dependent clause. An independent clause, unlike a dependent clause, can stand alone as a sentence. For example, 1. The cat stretched. The cat stretched. 2. Jacob stood on his tiptoes. Jacob stood on his tiptoes. 3. The car turned the corner. The car turned the corner. Next, compound sentence. A compound sentence is a sentence that has at least two independent clauses joined by a comma, semicolon, or conjunction. An independent clause is a clause that has a subject and verb and forms a complete thought. When independent clauses are joined with coordinator, also called coordinating conjunction, commas and semicolons, they do more than just join the clauses. They add meaning and flow to your writing. First, let's look at the coordinator you can use to join independent clauses. They are for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. We can spell it fun boys. For the example, 1. She didn't cheat on the test, for it was the wrong thing to do. 2. I really need to go walk, but I am too sick to drive. 3. I am counting my calories, yet I really want dessert. Next, complex sentence. A complex sentence is a sentence that contains an independent clause and one more dependent clauses. An independent clause can stand alone as a sentence, but a dependent clause, even though it has a subject and a verb, cannot stand alone. Let's take a look at some common complex sentence example pertaining to everyday life. In each example, the independent clause is underlined. 1. Because my coffee was too cold, I hid it in the microwave. I hid it in the microwave is independent clause. 2. Although he was wealthy, he was still unhappy. 3. She returned the computer after she noticed it was damaged. Next, compound complex sentence. Compound complex sentences are the most complicated sentence. As their name implies, a compound complex sentence has at least two independent clauses and at least one dependent clause. In simple terms, an independent clause can be a sentence on its own while a dependent clause cannot. 1. Because you were late, we could not watch the movie from the beginning and I need to rewatch it again. So the dependent clause is because you were late. And independent clause 1, we could not watch the movie from the beginning. Subordinating conjunction is and. And the last one, independent clause 2, is I need to rewatch it again. Example 2. I do not like the cookies that she bakes, but I still eat it. The independent clause 1 is I do not like the cookies. The dependent clause is that she bakes. The coordinate conjunction is but. The independent clause 2 is I still eat it. Next, the use media of CLT. Definition of CLT. So, communicative language teaching is a set of principles about teaching including recommendation about method and syllabus where the focus is on meaningful communication, not structure, use not usage. In this approach, students are given tasks to accomplish using language instead of studying of the language. The feature of CLT. 1. Focus on meaning. 2. Communicative competence is desired goal. 3. Learner-centered. 4. Fluency is primary goal. 5. Students are expected to interact with other people either in oral practice, through pair and group work, or in their writings. 6. Dialects, if used, center around communicative functions. 7. Intrinsic motivation will spring from an interest in what is being communicated by the language. 8. Text-based. Principles of CLT. 1. The communicative principle. Activities that involve real communication promote learning. 2. The text principle. Activities in which language is used to carry out meaningful tasks promote learning. 3. The meaningfulness principle. Language that is meaningful to learners support the learning process. Advance and disadvance of CLT. Advance of CLT. 1. The interaction between student and teacher. Communicative teaching is becoming increasingly clear feature is the change in the way as the internship. Students develop the subject initiative and become increasingly important. Teacher-student relationship is an interactive, harmonious relation rather than the traditional education, the kind of master-servant relationship. 2. To inform the basic knowledge and ability to skillfully combine the development. The traditional classroom teaching of English in the main body of the expense of home study only emphasized the teacher on the knowledge of the systematic and integrity, which is a teacher-centered knowledge center from the medieval scholastic teaching method. Inherit one consequence of the neglect of student ability. The communicative teaching emphasizes the learner cognitive ability and operational capabilities, which allow the student themselves to think about and express their views, thus train in real life the ability to use language to communicate. Greatly improve the student interest. Communicative teaching students to participate in, sometimes accompanied by scene or simulated scenarios, so that student more close to life. The student became the main character. Naturally, they were interested in the English language to learn English as a pleasure. Disadvantage of CLT. CLT approach focuses on fluency but not accuracy in grammar and pronunciation. The monitoring ability of the teacher must be very good. Grammar teaching practice make application of this approach difficult. So that is the advance and disadvantage of CLT. Okay, maybe my explanation is enough. More or less, I apologize. I hope this video can be useful. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.